second. Yeah, so as I said, I graduated from Monash University in 2019, and I was actually doing Master of IT at that time. So today I'm just going to share my journey with you guys about my first 2 years in IT industry. And I also have several tips for all the students who join, and hopefully it will be useful for you guys. So let's start from the beginning. So in 2019, when I was graduated from Monash, I actually got a job offer from a startup doing junior software engineer. So as you guys know, maybe Jason shared his experience with really like good companies, but for me, it's just a startup with 30 people there, right? So it's nothing really excited about, but I also got through the recruitment process and I got this like my second offer. And I was really excited to join the industry. And the industry we were doing is called customer experience industry. So basically we send out surveys for customers and collect the responses. And we are dealing with businesses, right? For example, Westpac and childcare centers, etc. So after 2 years, and now I am a mid-level software engineer in the same company, so I didn't change company. And for me, the biggest highlight last year is that we have the yearly Resonate kind of awards, because we have 4 company core values, and I was actually nominated by all the company employees to be one of the best team player and also one of the Wizard Award winner. So that's really like kind of acknowledgement for my hard work put in the company in the last 2 years. And I also like to share knowledge with other people. So I have my personal blog, which is lunawen.com. And I also like to write wiki internally. So I initiated and also I was driving the company technical team wiki document writing process. Apart from that, I'm also a tech team lead now. So for me, I actually have started the recruitment and hiring procedure. So I am managing several interns now, and some of them are actually recruited by me. So I was kind of testing my recruitment capability by working through all the process and then have someone actually onboarded, and I'm checking whether what I am seeing is actually correct. So I'm trying to see whether I can find a perfect match for the company, right? So I am doing some management thing at the moment. And this is just a screenshot from our company. So we were doing like kind of a female leadership promotion, and I'm really glad to be one of the female leaders in Resonate. So maybe you are thinking, how, right? Because it's just 2 years and I have accomplished these kind of things. I know it's not like super, extraordinary, but I also feel very proud of myself for achieving that in just 2 years. So today I just want to share several milestones I have accomplished for my last 2 years, because I always try to look back to my journey and I always try to figure out what I have done correct, what I have done wrong, and then I learn from that. So today it's more about sharing my journey or the lessons I learned in the past 2 years after I have a job. So maybe Jason has shared more about how he get a job, right? So I'm sharing the other part. So maybe you guys can think about what if you have got a job and what are you going to do in terms of starting your career. So the first milestone for me is actually to survive the probation. So believe it or not, it's actually not that easy in a startup. So in a startup, you are expected to do everything quickly, and you are expected to learn from other people. There's not very formal procedure. You just need to figure your way out, right? So in this period, it's usually 6 months. For me, it's 6 months. And I think the best thing I learned in that period is I always need to give my best. So I know there are a lot of questions you want to ask during the onboarding process, and sometimes you feel it's silly questions. Maybe I should just keep it to myself. Don't let others find out I don't know anything. But it's actually a very precious period for you to ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, after 2 months, people will expect you know everything, right? So they will be like, okay, why didn't you ask this at that time? So always ask questions during your onboarding procedure. That's one of the tips I want to share with you guys. And another thing is just communication. You need to constantly communicate with your managers. You need to communicate with your peers. So this is very important. And you need to actively observe the others. So you don't just focus on your work. You also try to check what are the others doing. Maybe see what's your manager doing every day, right? What are the meetings he's joining, and try to just learn from that. So the main thing in the probation period is company engagement and fitting. So for me, because I've got 2 interns here and I'm also their manager, so when I'm looking at their performance during this internship period, I just want to make sure they actually fit in the team and they ask the right questions. So this is something we are looking for as managers. And the most important thing is you just need to keep learning. There are a lot of new knowledge you don't know in your uni, but you need to have that knowledge to be able to do your work. So I think initially you need to just spend more time on making up the knowledge holes in your skill, and try to just perform as good as other people. So after you survive that probation period, now it's the milestone 2. So for me, I think the second milestone is just you need to earn others' trust. This is important because when you can get things done, when you can actually perform very good, your productivity is good, then people start to trust you. And you need to focus on not only quality, but also speed. So both are important. And this is the time you just need to make sure all the tasks assigned to you are completed with quality and speed. And then you earn the trust by the other team members. But it's always like perfectly okay or normal to make a lot of mistakes. Believe it or not, I made a lot of deployment mistakes. So there are several bad things happened for my PBIs. But I always try to just, when I feel down, I just try to stand up and try to learn from my mistakes. And I'm not just learning from my mistakes, I also try to learn from others' mistakes. So if you see your colleague doing something wrong, it's a good time for you just to learn from their mistakes. So this is the time you try to grow and you try to run faster. So after that milestone 2, you have earned your team trust. So what's the next step? For me, the next step is just to become a domain expert. What do I mean by this is that you need to try to observe the others. You need to try to think about the bottleneck of the team, and you need to be able to identify the pain points. For example, when I was working in the developer team, I always feel people have questions about daytime, like we are dealing with global clients, right? And daytime offset is never easy thing for developers. So I feel that no one actually knows it good. And then I spent about 2 months just using my own time to figure out what this actually does. How do we handle daytime correctly? How do we ingest Excel files correctly? So these are the pain points. And then I actually use that knowledge to help my team members to do their work. So this is try to make others' life easier. So this is about teamwork. Milestone 2 is about yourself, is about your performance, but this milestone is about try to help the others and make their life easier. So these are the things I have learned in the last 2 years, and I hope you guys can, try to imagine what you are going to face when you actually join the workforce, right? So just a recap, the stage 1 is that you need to fit in the company, you need to, stand still. And then the second stage is you need to focus on your own performance. And the third stage is that you really need to try to become a domain expert and try to help the others. So yeah, that's my presentation. And if you guys want to hit me up with any questions, just, connect me with my LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What an inspiring presentation from Luna.